Hey guys.
Hi.
We're so excited to see you. I'm Dove.
I'm Nicole.
And I know it's been a little while since we've had a video out, so thank you guys so much for everything that you're doing, for your comments, your questions, connecting with us, all of your hard work. We really wanted to do something special for you guys today because we have a lot of questions. And so, you know, Nicole and I say to you guys a lot, if you've got a question, bring it to us. If a lot of you have a question, we're going to put something out there. We're here to serve you. Right? We are really here. We do this work. You are our why, right? Yeah. We are here to serve you. We are here to help make this journey easier. Man, do we know what it felt like to do this journey and not have tools, right? The journey of life, the journey of evolution, the journey of twin flame, separation, of union, all of these things, right? It's all an experience and it's all an amazing, amazing growth process. And so, first off, I'm going to remind you guys a couple times, if you're new to us and our channel, please subscribe so you can stay connected, right? We're creating a community here. You guys are important to us, and it's the best way that we can be of service is for you to subscribe and stay connected to us, right? If you're not on our Facebook, connect with our Facebook. We're going to do lives for you guys. We're going to stay in touch. We're going to try to be constantly putting out ways that we can serve you and that you can know about. So stay connected to each other and to us. So subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. In addition, we're going to talk at the end about if you want to do some work with us, what that would look like for you, what's the next step. The next step would be booking a consultation with us, and we'll talk about that as well. So there's a link below if you want to book a consultation to talk about our work, what we do, and how we can serve you through working with us, right? So, okay, the work.
Yes.
The work. We say this all the time, and a lot of you ask us, what is the work, right? And if you've worked with us, you definitely know what we're talking about. But if you haven't, you know that comes up a lot, and we throw that phrase around a lot. And for us, the work is everything. The work is evolution. But what does it mean? If we had to put it into a concept, into a sentence, into a thought, what is the work, right? The work is about doing process that allows you to come into a state of remembrance about who you are at a divine level, right? Who you really are, to express who you really are here. And why is that so important? Because we came here to be the divine self-expression of who we are. And when we are in a state of alignment, when we are there, our life is a full state of abundance, right? We can give, we can receive, we can flow with the universe. And we have so much that keeps us from that state of remembrance, right? That keeps us from that state of alignment. And what are some of these things? So let's be real practical. Trauma, past life energies, fears, abuse, neglect, all those things, our subpersonalities. We have things like collective belief structures, right? Yeah. Our family's belief structures, right? Science has actually proven now that we inherit 14 generations, up to 14 generations of trauma in our cells and DNA. These things keep us, right? These things keep us from being in that state of remembrance. And a lot of you come to us and you ask us things like, why are we here? What are we doing here? And a lot of you have individualized aspects to this, right? To your purpose, to your self-expression. That's what we do a lot when we do soul alignment, right? When we do soul realignment, we look at who are you? Who are you really at this divine self? And how can you move everything that needs to be moved to be in that state? But generally, why are you here? You are here to be a full divine expression of who you are, right? To show the world, say, wow, I remember, and this is who I am, and this is why I'm here, right? That's why we do the work. That's why we do the work. And there's a lot of ways that you can get to the work, right? And we do it our way. And we'll talk about what our way is a little bit as well, and what tools that you may be able to grab and start to, absorb. And why is it important? And for twins, it's really important as well. If you're in a mirroring relationship, you're a sacred union, or you're separated from sacred union, you feel each other so deeply, right? And what happens is little bricks, every trauma, every abuse, every anger, every neglect, every past life that you experienced together or apart, and your traumas and what you're bringing, and all of these blocks that are blocking you from you are blocking you from your twin as well, or your destiny, or your path, or your desire, or your business, right? So if you're wondering why we want to get rid of that, why we want to invest in ourselves with our time and our commitment and believe in ourselves, and why would we want to do that? because our life, just our existence depends on it, right? And remembering what we're doing here, and that is so much bigger than what we think, right? And it's so much bigger, and twins are so activated right now. Wow, there's so much work being done on this planet, so deep bow to all of you.
Yeah.
So much work that you don't even know you're doing.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it's really interesting. We don't think about all the time. Like in the beginning, I didn't think about like the work that Dove and I was doing was like actually helping other people to change or awakening other people, allowing just through our example, through our energy, through our shift, allowing people to wake up. And you're seeing more and more of our clients like finding their twin now, like right now, meeting and having this awakening, and everything's getting activated. And the first thing I want to say about the work is you don't have to do this alone. Do not do this alone. I have a coach and mentor for things that we don't always think about, and it has changed my life, right? So sometimes I can't see past my feet. I can't even see past my shoes sometimes. I'm so caught up in my emotions. This last week, my self-worth was on the table in a depth that I was like, the more we clean out the trauma, the deeper we go. And so we were hitting places that I was like, ooh, that's really uncomfortable. I don't like that. And the thing is when we're in the emotions of that and we're feeling that, we can't see past our shoes. And sometimes you need someone to just hold your hand and be like, listen, this is what's happening. It is okay. You are going to get through this, and literally walk you through it. And I've done it in so many aspects of my life, and I like, oh my, today I was so grateful for all the people that helped me with my business, helped me with my spiritual work, helped me with her, helped me to see the places that I can't see from where I'm standing right now, just right now. Because once we shift, then we can see from that place. And we learn from each other, and we grow from each other. Sometimes I grow the most when I'm working with you. Oh my God, I see things where I'm like, oh my God, wait, there's a pattern there, and that's going on with X, Y, and Z, and it's happening in me, and we're getting to shift this together.
Yes.
It's so important. So if you are doing this on your own, and you're banging your head against the wall, and you're lonely, and you're scared, you don't have to do that. And even if you have no money, or you do have money, whatever it is, there are options out there. There are things to do to help you. So there's always a way, right? We only limit that. We only say there's no way because there's so many different ways to get where you need to be. And if you're watching this right now, awesome. We're so with you. We thank you for being present with us and contacting us, because you help us grow. We help you grow. Our love is just, it goes back and forth, and it creates it creates energy on the earth that's really changing things.
So fast.
Very fast.
You guys are changing things so fast, right? And Nicole's talking about how twins are coming together. They're coming together because of all of this deep work, right? And sometimes you might be sleeping and you're like, wake up tired. You don't even realize your soul's out there running around
all
and
night.
doing things.
All night. We're working.
Right? And you're activating and you're working on things and you're changing things. And here's the other thing about the work, right? Context. You can feel a lot of this, but we don't have a map. We're going in the dark. We got a blindfold on, and where are we? What's going on? And we don't know. Where is the map for what's going on? And when Nicole and I do work, and we look at your situation, and we can see, oh, look here. This is what's going on. Right? This is happening because of this.
Yep.
This is happening because of that. And all of a sudden, this shift in your consciousness starts to happen, and you can feel the understanding and the map around you, and you go, whoa, and you can feel your power. You can feel yourself becoming empowered by the information, by the context of what you're experiencing, right? The same way as if we're having symptoms and we realize we get a diagnosis, we're like, oh, I have, a cough. It's like, oh, okay, no, I know what to do, right? I understand why I'm doing this weird thing where my belly's expanding and my throat's itchy, right? It's like we actually understand and that's a silly example, but we do. Everything functions within some level of context. And a lot of you come to us and are very confused, and all you need is some context, right? Some clarity, some tools. And so everything we do is about bringing you into a state of your power. Right? And it is so deeply important. And when Nicole was saying, it does not just affect you, right? It affects your ancestry and your family and your twin and your children, and the people around you and the other twins on this planet, or the other people on this planet, and the consciousness, right?
Yeah.
And it's so important. It's so important to be able to do that.
So what's really awesome about being a twin, I know a lot of you are in union and a lot of you are in separation. But when I say mirror, mirror, everyone knows what I'm talking about. And so the beautiful part, so there's the aspect of the mirror where we're just like, I don't want to do this, I want to run, because you're just letting me see everything about myself that I do to myself, that the choices that I've made to create the reality that I have. You're showing me that feels really, really uncomfortable. On the other hand, we were talking about being the full expression of yourself. The mirror shows you the things in you that keep you from your divine you.
Yes.
That keep you blocked
Yes.
from expressing yourself. And when I first got into this relationship, or even when we figured out that we were in this relationship, I thought, listen, it's very important, my union with Dove, but I thought it was all about us. And the thing is there's another aspect of Nicole waking up and committing to Nicole to do the work and to ground myself and to here's where this is the work. Taking a look at yourself, an honest look at yourself. Stop blaming every single person in your life. Your mom, your dad, your twin, your lover, your friend, your teacher, the mailman. Blaming everyone because your reality looks the way it does because of just you.
Right.
So we mirror these things to show each other it so that I can go, oh my God, I actually this week, I realized there's parts of me that hate me, that don't like aspects of me. And I wasn't really ready to see that before. I actually didn't really think I was ready to see it now. I really went through trauma this week. It hurt so bad. I was struggling. I was in so much pain. All my comfort was gone. I had to rely on me and God. It was just me and God. My business is amazing. My relationship is amazing. My family life is amazing. And everything for the moment got removed where I was like, nothing was making me feel okay. And I realized that at that moment, I was stuck with me and I had to look at myself. And I'm looking at myself and I was like, wow, there's stuff in there that you don't like. There's stuff in there that you haven't forgiven yourself for. There's things about you that don't trust or think that you're deserving. And those are the things that'll keep us from being in this beautiful expression, because we're awesome. We're huge beings and we're doing a lot right now. I'm gonna keep saying it. We're doing so much work here. So many people are waking up. So many people are feeling loved. Feeling loved. Receiving love. Do you know how hard it is for someone to receive love sometimes? Because you don't feel that you deserve it, and then it's really hard to give love. Or there's some of you that have given all of yourself. You've just thrown yourself in and you don't give anything to yourself.
Right.
And there's reasons for that too. And we show each other. We're constantly looking at that. And so every day I'm gonna have to take a look and literally just sit with myself and say, okay, that's there. How can I change that? What can I do today to change that? How can I energetically move that? And it's a process, and it's painful and beautiful, and it just goes and it goes and
I love that Nicole brought up that it's painful, because it's not nearly as painful as what it is to stay in the position you're in right now. To
No way.
stay in it, to come right up against the wall with your nose against it, to your fears and your traumas, and not having the tools and not having the context, and being right up against it and repeating pattern after pattern after pattern after cycle and not being able to break out of it. That is so much more painful. Our ego, our mind tricks us into this concept that it would be so much harder to jump in and actually look at it, because oh no, we don't want to do that, because the ego doesn't want you to have an ego death. It doesn't want you to let go of that aspect of yourself, right? Because our ego is trained to keep itself there. If you are not able to stay afraid and limited, well then who will you be? Well, you'll be you. Right? You're not going to die away. You're not going to disappear. You're going to be who you really are outside of this experience and this amnesia that we have when we come into this body and this life, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing Nicole said that was really important was we are the first to tell you, right, that we do most of what we do, right, for this energetic union that we have. Not just for our relationship, right? This is an effect of it. We do our work like this together, but for that union that's changing the energy around the world. So we respect that very highly. But I like that she brought up the importance of this individuality and taking care of this individuality, right? And here's a beautiful aspect of the work that we do, right? When we say the work, and really anything that you do, even if you just start taking care of yourself, right? As you're becoming stronger and you're more grounded in yourself and you're more in self-love and you're moving out these traumas and these past lives and you're doing this work, your twin, because they're so connected to you, right? And many others, because we are connected like an interlocked grid, are gonna also rise through that healing that you're doing on yourself. So it's never in a vacuum. But on the other hand, it's always your point of power to begin. Because this is where you have your powers for you, with you, right? And when it's with a twin, Nicole and I talked about it, we belabored it in many of our videos that I did work, a lot of work where energetic work where she was not part of it yet, and it helped her. She could feel it, and she could feel my strength, and she could feel my example, right? And she could enter into that, and that could be a state. So it's like doing that work. And some of you have asked us, so I want to answer some of the questions that have come up kind of frequently. Some of you have said, well, isn't it kind of codependent to do work? And we've talked about this in another video. Isn't it a little bit codependent to do spiritual work, on behalf of my twin? Well, if you believe and you subscribe to the idea that you are connected, you are one energy to a large part, right? Then no, this union outside of our body, this is your responsibility. It's your energy that is your birthright, and it's your responsibility to take care of, right? And it's like a lot of people will say, well, I'm not on the twin path anymore, so I'm off the work.
I said that.
Okay, so let's back this up a little bit because I included two things in that statement. Here's the thing, the work is your soul's evolution. So if you're off the work, right? If you're not talking to your twin in 3D or you don't want to work on that right now, that's fine. That's fine, right? To an extent, that's where you are at the moment. We can talk about that more. But to say I don't want to do the work, I don't want to work on my being, on myself, on removing my blocks and being the self-expression of who I am divinely, it's like hitting the pause button on life, and in which case, good luck, right? I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to help you because we are constantly evolving. And other of you have asked us, well, when do we graduate? We don't, right? It's like not in this lifetime, not in the
I've
typical.
Got the Twin Flame Award. I'd like to thank my mom and dad.
Not in the typical
maybe,
sense.
I don't know, maybe after this.
Right, and what happens in our evolution as twins, that's different, but as a soul, right, we're excited to come down here on earth. We're talking about in this lifetime, right? We're excited to come down here on earth and expand and evolve. So it's great that the work doesn't stop. And Nicole was super candid about how she just had a really hard week, right? And I had a really hard week.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot going on and there's a lot of energy coming up. And here's the really cool thing about when you do work, it's like an onion. So you're just peeling layers and layers and layers off. And what Nicole was talking about is those really deep ones. And we want to get to those places.
Whew, yeah.
Because there's freedom in those places.
Yeah.
And there's honesty.
And your being, this body, even this flesh, this body is sacred. It's so sacred to take care of it. So the work is like feeding your mind. I didn't even look in the notes about this, but I was thinking about how I got here. I started to ask the universe for books to read and people to guide me. And I started reading books and I started reading truth. And truth started to wake me up. And I was like, oh my God, I know that's the truth. I know that. I've known that forever. I've known it for lives. And I'd wake up and then I'd get another book and I was studying and I was really setting up the scene for the truth.
Yes.
And the other part is, we were talking about doing the work. I suffered. With doing no work. I suffered. That was the worst suffering of my life, with my drug addiction, with all this stuff. I suffered. Do I suffer doing the work? Hell yes. Does it stay in suffering? Hell no.
Right.
It never stays in suffering. It's peaks and valleys. At the peaks, Osho says, if you know who Osho is, this guru, he's like, squeeze the peak out for all of that goodness, all that all that good feeling. I was on drugs for 20 years. Nothing is like it when you feel so at peace with yourself and so connected. That high, there's nothing I would never trade that in. And then I go whoosh, right back into a valley because it's time to work and look at things, right? And you would think I'd be really exhausted right now. I'm not exhausted. There's times where I do get tired, but it's all worth it. It's all worth it. If you guys are watching this video, then you're probably thinking or that you are a twin. And if you're watching this video, you probably want more out of life. And if you're watching this video, you're not really like secure in like where you are. You want something more, and that's all you have to have. All you have to have is a little bit of openness and a tiny bit of faith. And with those two things, that opens the door, and then just a little bit of commitment then to yourself to open up a process, however you want to plan that process out, or whoever the universe guides you or God guides you. I always ask, I'm like, where do I go next? Who's my next mentor? Who's gonna help me with my health issues? Who's gonna help me with my business? And I get it. Right. It comes, it will come. So I was saying the body's sacred. Your mind, what you're thinking is important. How you're feeling is important. Your spirituality is important. What you're putting in your body, all of that is the work. How you're catering to those 4 bodies, because they're so important and they play off of each other. So if you start working out, you start feeling a little bit more healthy, then it kind of plays into your emotions. And then if your emotions are, your mind's gonna start changing. So it doesn't matter where you start, but start somewhere. So.
Absolutely. Oh, so Nicole said so many important things. Commitment to ourself. That's not hard, right? Sounds like not hard, but guess what? It's really hard.
So hard.
Why? Because here are the cool ways that we are forced to grow. And we talked about it in, one of the aspects of why we say twin flame separation can be a gift is because this is when you come up against that deep, deep pain. And when we come up against deep, deep pain, our back goes against the wall, and when our back is against the wall, we become open.
Yeah.
Right? We become open, and pain is a big part of our evolution here. Right? It's a big catalyst for us, because when things are okay, then they're okay. You don't need to change anything, right? There's no fire under your ass. You're not going to do anything, right? But when you're in pain, and I mean pain, separation from our twin, pain, right? Deep pain. We have to look at all those deep things in there, and that is why it's so beautiful. Not because, some of you have said on another video, you said, how could this be a gift? You guys must be crazy. That's not what we're saying, right? Our separation was the hardest thing I have ever experienced in my lifetimes, right? It was brutal, and I didn't know if I could breathe through it. Why I say it's a gift is because I would have never done the work that I did, and I would never be in the shoes that I am now, and I would never have the gift of having her here right next to me and doing this and being here with you guys, which is our why. I wouldn't have this gift if I didn't have that pain. So I just want to be really clear about why we say it's a gift. Not because we're not, empathetic, not because we had some easy separation. No, because the biggest depth of pain that we go into is our biggest breakthrough. Nicole says it all the time. The breakdown, the bigger the breakdown, the bigger the breakthrough, the bigger the breakdown. Always. It has never failed. Like the worse it feels, the looks, taste,
I've had moments where I was literally crumbling in the room, like doing this work, literally not unable to leave my room for a second because the pain of what I was releasing and letting go and dealing with. Right. And then all of a sudden, boom, breakthrough, another level, new game, which has its own which has its own fears, because every breakthrough that we get when we start ascending, we go on these different levels, or we're like, this doesn't feel comfortable. I don't know this space. But the thing with that is you learn and you go, and it's okay. And we stop ourselves from growing a lot of the time. We get afraid, like, what if I do succeed, right? When we start to get a little uncomfortable, it's like I remember when Dove and I started taking on events for companies, and every week we had something new we were doing, and I'm like, we have to do this, don't we? We have to do it. We had to push through. And it's like that with everything, though. It's like that with every day something new is coming. You have to just push through, and you get through it. You get through it. And sometimes you are locked up in your room for a couple days. It happens. I understand that. Where you can't, and it's like we always say, no guilt and shame. It's okay. However you have to get through the day, you get through the day, and that is okay. It is okay.
That's really important, and we say it all the time, so it's a reminder, it's a homework for you. Here's a tip, here's a tool, right? So just start watching yourself as an observer. Don't judge. Don't guilt yourself. Start to come into a place of compassion. And because here's the thing too, as twins we're so connected, right? That if you're going into judgment, self-abuse, you're not taking care of yourself, you're not doing anything to keep your vibration up, you're not eating, you're not sleeping, your twin feels it, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like just starting to, okay, right? Starting to take care of me, because from taking care of me, from doing work on me, everything is possible. And here is another reason why it's not so easy to commit to ourselves and do work, is because we have massive fear around actually getting what we want, which we talked about. We also have massive issues with receiving. A lot of you are givers, such givers, right? Spiritual people, healers, twins, are sensitive souls. We're givers, we're lovers. We want to just give everything, and we forget something so important, right? Which is that the universe works on a balance, on a scale, on a give and a take and an ebb and a flow. And when we just say, I'm just going to give and I'm going to give, I'm going to give, what we do is we take everything and we make it out of balance. And all of a sudden we're like this. Yeah. And what happens? First of all, the universe hears he or she doesn't want to receive. Okay? And then we're like, we're not going to receive abundance. We're not going to receive support. We're not going to receive our twin back in our life. We're not going to receive harmony if you are together. We're not going to receive anything, because the universe is like, oh, I respect this person's wishes and they don't want to receive. Okay, so I know none of you want that, right? So that's just a little bit of, let's have some consciousness moment here. And the other thing is, if we don't receive, we don't allow someone to give. And that's a big one for givers, right? Yep. It's like, you love to give. Doesn't it feel good? Doesn't it feel good to give your love or your support or your hand or your time, right? It feels great. So if you don't receive, you're depriving, the other side of being able to give this exchange, right? And so believe it or not, when we do work, if we're going to find somebody, you're going to work with us, or you're going to work with another mentor, you're going to work with anybody, you're going into a give and take experience of your time, right? Which is your most valuable possession, your trust, right? Whatever financial exchange happens there. And so it really asks you, are you able to give, and are you able to tell the universe that you're ready to receive? Mm-hmm. And a lot of time, it's not about what you're giving to the situation, it's about whether you're open to invest in yourself and to allow the receiving in. So I really want you guys to think about that. It's a big
I actually
part
want to
of
give an
our work.
example, because I was being told to tell you this, is that I couldn't receive because I was undeserving. There was a bunch of reasons why I was unable to receive, but when we're closed off to receiving, she could be giving me love all day and I'm literally not going to feel or see it.
Right.
Like literally not going to feel it or see it. She could be just laying it all down and I'm just like, no one loves it. And I was saying it, I was like, you don't love me. And she's like, I don't understand. And I was like, because I wasn't open. My heart wasn't open for your love. I didn't feel I deserved it. Or I didn't think that I really needed it. And we go through all this stuff, but the thing is it is the natural flow. And it is beautiful when it is flowing, because then you get to feel each other. Because Dove and I, when we went through a lot of our stuff, we couldn't feel each other. We were like, why can't we feel each other? And we'd be doing well. And it was because of a lot of these issues. And so another part of the work is, if you are in a relationship, and even if you're not in a relationship or a sacred union, and you have friends or any kind of relationships in your life,
right.
It's really important to be authentic and be honest, and to learn, if you don't know how to communicate, to begin to speak out what you need to say. What is your truth? When we don't do that, it is like, I can't tell, actually when we're talking about symptoms, when we stuff like that, you'll see people on drugs, you'll see people with eating disorders, you'll see people actually have stomach issues, you'll be sick, you'll have gallstones, it is nonstop. The things that we cause ourselves from stuffing, we'll binge eat. It's like, it literally takes on a form, because your spirit, all it wants to do is hear you. It's not about what the other person hears. Your spirit literally wants to feel you, hear you, because my whole life I was like, no one hears me. I can't say anything. No one hears me. When I started to speak and started to tell people, I realized that it had nothing to do with whether they heard me or not, because it doesn't matter. I heard me. I felt that. I know what that freedom feels like, to say the things that maybe are hard for you to say. And maybe you don't think anyone cares.
Right.
But you have to care. Like I had to care enough to do that. So being honest, Speaking your truth, saying what you need to say, speaking out. We were talking about earlier on getting support, having support to say the things that you've never said. The things that happen to you that you've never told anyone that happened to you, that stuff is making you sick. It's keeping you from you.
And from your love, right? And from what you want and from your dreams. And you know what? I heard a lot of you, energetically watching this going, but I don't know how to speak my truth and I don't know what's stopping me. This is what we were talking about. Sometimes you need a mirror, right? So when Nicole and I work, we look at what is it? Like, what is that block? Like, or who are you divinely? Like when we're doing like deep soul retrieval work, like who are you? Like what are the aspects of you that you need to express? We help you to identify that. We help you to answer these questions. We hold that mirror up, right? And we guide you to trusting and listening to yourself.
Yep.
And that's so important, right? To be in that state of remembrance. And we tell people all the time, we will say every video, listen to your intuition, right? And if you feel so many people come to us and they say, I don't know who I am, what I'm doing here.
Yep.
And I say, that's okay, right? I didn't. She didn't. I mean,
No.
You have ideas.
No clue.
But it's years of stuff, and it's like, and we can help you figure that out, or someone else can if you listen to your intuition and who you connect to.
That's
but
important.
the answer's
Who do you
there.
connect to?
Yes.
You have to connect and don't trust everyone. Don't even trust us right now. Just connect. It's about feeling, right? So something feels off, you don't have to believe everything you hear. It's about how you feel. We know when we're like, it resonates. That does not resonate. Trust yourself. Begin to trust yourself in that way. This is important, actually.
It's really important.
That's actually a big part of the work, is starting to learn to trust yourself. Because when I came in, I remember I had a therapist, this is my favorite. I had a therapist tell me, after like I was trying to get clean, I had a therapist like look at me and be like, whatever decision you're about to make, do the opposite. And I was like, because they're like, you've learned to look at her face. They literally told me, like, just do the opposite.
Oh God.
Because you shouldn't trust yourself at all. Your decisions up until now have been horrible. And I walked away from that and I was like, okay, and it just didn't make much sense. But I didn't trust myself. Now I know myself. I do trust myself. I trust myself more than I trust most people, actually, because I'm in here. I know what I'm feeling and thinking. Nobody else knows but you, right? And so it's so important that you get to go in there, and you get to go in there. I always say this. You're probably gonna hear it on more than one video. It's like, don't treat your mind like a dark alleyway. Don't go in there alone. You don't have to. You don't have to. If I went by every little thought I had, Jesus, like sometimes people are like, that's a little off, Nick, and like give me some guidance, right? No, but seriously, and
there's the mirror too with the consciousness, right?
Yes.
And so a lot of what we do is consciousness mentoring and healing work, and the consciousness mentoring is like, okay, what's the correction? What's the little shift? And I love that Nicole brought that up, because actually I was laughing, but that is a very typical treatment for borderline personality disorder, okay? And a lot of you might have been diagnosed with something like that. And the truth is that when we're diagnosed with things like that, we're trained and taught to believe that not only we're broken, which you are not, okay?
No.
But that you will not be able to be in a place where you can trust yourself or rely on yourself again, or that
be happy.
Yeah, or be happy. So when Nicole many years ago was starting to be spoken to, and trained in this way through traditional methods in psychology, I remember talking to a doctor, and he said, well, not only we don't really know if this exists, we don't have really much proof that anything can be done.
Yeah.
Actually, nothing can be done, and doctors told her and me, and she'll just never be happy.
Yep.
Because it sounds kind of like maybe she's got this. And we were like, okay, there's no diagnosis, there's no treatment, so guess what? You can get there. You can trust yourself. You can realize that in fact, you're just unique, and you just have your experiences. And listen, I remember, and I told you guys this in another video, I remember being in therapy one day, and the therapist said, I think you have a depression problem. And I was like, I think I'm potentially getting a divorce. Like, that's what was going on, right? And I say that really seriously. Like, if you were abused, right, or abandoned, or you're separated from your twin, or you're living in your car, or all of these things, and you expect that you wouldn't be in pain, or that you wouldn't not want to get out of bed, or that you wouldn't, have thoughts that it is really hard to be in the body sometimes, right? So you're not broken. And none of this is outside of reach, and none of this is something that can't be fixed. And so for homework for you guys, and we send you so much love and compassion.
So much light and love, so much.
Deep compassion for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Give yourself some deep compassion. And for a moment, if you have anything weighing on you like this, any judgments of yourself, any diagnoses, any criticisms from others, if you can just for a second say, wow, well, if I look at what I've gone through, and that's a gift too, right? Don't throw stuff at the computer screen. I'm not actually there, right? Don't yell at me. Nicole will say it all the time. We both have incarnated and gone through some major stuff in our life. And we know that we chose it to grow. And we know that you chose it to grow, and that we know that we chose it to help other people, and that your story is important and your transformation is important. And when we talk to you guys, wow, what you are doing for this planet and for each other, for this earth with your message is just amazing. So I just want to remind you of that. To let you be in your power a little and not say like, damn, I'm a victim to everything that happened in my life. No, wow, I really signed up for some challenging stuff, and it means I am going to be able to really rise up there, right? And I don't have to do it alone.
Yeah.
Right? And you're not alone right now. Even right now, we're here, we're connected to you, and we're constantly working on different ways to be of service to you guys, right?
Actually, as Dove was saying, even if the diagnosis is a real diagnosis and it's correct, there's still hope. There's still hope. It doesn't even matter. There's so many answers. And you are powerful, right? You are powerful. When you actually are aligned with yourself, right? When you get that moment where you're really grounded, your gifts start to come out. And some of you are already seeing your gifts. And some of you, if you haven't seen your gifts are coming, right? Because sometimes, like when I was doing drugs and I was so disconnected from myself, I didn't even I knew I had healing gifts, but I didn't feel them particularly.
Right.
Like I didn't feel that I was intuitive, psychic, empathic, all these things. I didn't understand. And now it's like I can channel, I do all these things because more and more I'm centered in who I am. And I've accepted that. And I work with that, and I study, and I pray, and I breathe, and I eat well, and we work on our relationship, and we work on our union, and we do clearings for our union, and we do clearings for our whole ancestry, and we have all these, there's tools, there's things to clean your auric field, to just align your chakras, to allow you to just continuously grow. And it's like one foot in front of the other, little bit by little bit. It is okay if you feel like you go backwards, because it's always going to feel like that, forward and backwards. It feels like that, but you're always evolving. Nothing that you've gained will ever leave you. I don't care what decision you make that your life looks like shit. It's not going to change where you are in the evolution of this process.
Right. Yep. That's really important what Nicole just said. Like, you might feel like you took 2 steps back. That's the process of the evolution, right? It's not 2 steps back. It's a step forward, a step deeper, a step up, a step deeper, right? It is just this cycle, and there's nothing wrong with you, and it's not broken, it's the process. And I heard a lot of you when Nicole was talking going, I've tried everything. You have not. You've not.
I still haven't.
I have not. We have not.
I've tried a lot of things, actually. I still have not.
What does that mean? It means there is answers.
There's endless, limitless opportunity for you.
Yes. Right? And we just offer some.
Yeah.
Right? And if you want to know what we offer and how we do it, and you're ready, right? If you are ready to say,
true,
I'm going to commit to me. I am ready to look at my stuff. I am no longer putting it all outside of me, right? I'm ready to go here. I'm ready to be the responsible creator of my existence. And why is that awesome? Why is it awesome? Nicole talked way at the beginning of the video about how we really create everything. Our life is our creation. Why is that amazing? You know why that's amazing? Is because it means that you can create anything that you want. Anything that you want. Because we created this. And a lot of us don't love this. So why don't we create something that you love?
Yeah.
Right?
I love that.
So on that note, we love you guys. We're going to ask
Love
you,
you.
if you want to connect, go to the link below, set a consultation, and let's talk about how we can serve you
Yep.
and how we can help you and be support for you and get you the tools that you need to be where you want to be. In addition to that, subscribe, stay connected so that we can continue to give you massive value through this channel in any way we can, and so that we can continue to listen to you and to your needs. Go on our Facebook or Instagram. Definitely Facebook. We try to really let you guys know if we're going to do a call or a free program, or if there's a bit of information. We also do live videos on Facebook, and so just stay connected so that you also remember that you're really not alone. And most of all, guys, keep up the good work, because even if you don't realize you're doing the work, you're doing the work.
Amazing, actually.
And we love you guys.
We love you guys so much. Lighten up.
Bye.